This is the MFS Wellness Podcast. I am Mike Sinopoli, and on this episode, we are starting part one of three of a series around modern dating and relationships. So the plan here is to get the female perspective on one episode. Then the next one, we're going to go ahead and get the male perspective. And episode three, a great idea, we're going to get everybody together on one episode. And if history shows us anything, that's just going to be one big argument. All right. So over the last several years, especially, we've heard how communication, connection, consistency have nothing been short of confusing in the pursuit of romantic relationships. So we're going to straighten all that out starting today. So we're going to get right into it. So recording with me today, three very gracious young ladies who I've seen on podcasts before. They speak very well and they have a lot of knowledge on the subject. So first up, she's a New England transplant. She did the Thirst Trap Fitness Inspo episode with me a few months ago. She now lives in South Carolina. Renee Capiello. Renee, how's it going?
Great, looking forward to it.
Good, good. It's going to be exciting. If it's anything like the other one we did, this is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get a lot of good feedback. Also here out in New York, out in the East Coast, Crystal Novello. Crystal, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm so excited.
All right, sounds fun. And rounding it out, outside of Chicago, Illinois, Gina Menelacino. Hello, Gina.
Hi.
Good to have you here. This is wonderful. All right. So, and to those of you wondering, yes, I did. By chance, this was not planned to have three Italian women in the room with me here, but I do know what risk I have put myself at here, and I would like you all to keep me in your thoughts and prayers as this goes on. They look calm right now, but as we get into the content, I have a feeling things are going to kind of shift a little bit. All right, so we want to make this constructive, not too heavy or anything. We're going to have some fun with this. What we're going to do is kind of just go over some big points that have been debated and discussed around dating and relationships. There's different perspectives for males and females. I think we're very similar in a sense. I don't think we're that different, but there are definitely differences that kind of get stereotyped on both sides. So we're going to kind of clear a little bit of that up, but we do want to get that straight female perspective here. And I will be shutting my mouth and letting these lovely young ladies speak and say whatever they need to throughout this whole thing. And I'll just kind of read the content and go from there. So we got social media responses. We got some content that I've come up with and a game called Red Flag, Green Flag we'll play later, along with some poll results that we have. So before we start the topic here, ladies, anything you want to say before I get into the content here? Are you ready? Are you ready?
So ready.
You ready to
I'm
save the
ready.
world? Someone's listening, and as long as one person gets some help, right? As long as we help one person understand something here today,
Ladies, we are here for you. We got your back.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, and if if you guys end up getting pissed off at men during this, I'm here to be the punching bag. So that's just what I've signed up for this. So here we go.
You have signed up for this. You're
Yeah,
in for it
so
now.
it's all right. So like we said, there's been a lot throughout the years here. I think we know the connectivity with social media and the dating apps and all of that have changed the landscape here. But we're going to go ahead and start right off with our very first bullet point here. So, ladies, is it better for a man to show genuine interest or pretend that he doesn't care when he's pursuing you? It's said some women are more attracted to men who don't seem to care, a little more lackadaisical, but others feel like they want some more effort. Just show me, be a little more into me. So let's start with Crystal on this one. What do you say? What do you believe in on this one? Go ahead.
So I don't believe there is any woman out there who wants a nonchalant man. There is nothing chalant about it. We want our men who want us, who are encouraging us, who want to show us off. And a man that's showing like basic interest and kind of standoffish is not attractive. So that's a no.
So that's a no for you. So we want some more effort. We want to be seen. We want you guys to see us
Yeah,
a
I
little
want
bit
to
more.
know that my
Trying.
man likes me and wants me around and is not and is putting in full effort, not the I could take it or leave it, because then you can leave it.
Okay. Well, there you go. How about you, Renee?
Yeah, I would say a man needs to show up with intention, I think. Showing up without intention is just too lackadaisical, I think. And you need to show me, why do you want me? Are you showing up in a proper way to, I guess, grow the relationship, right? And if not, then what's the point of even being involved at all?
Okay. Gina, what about you?
I kind of agree with both of them. You know, you don't want, I mean, I'm not saying like the first time we're texting, I want to get bombarded, but I want someone to show genuine interest. I prefer that over someone just being like, oh yeah, hey, what's, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would have to say that I prefer someone showing me, and I'm not saying sending me paragraphs, but
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I want a little genuine interest. I want you to ask how my day is. Girls, we like attention. So especially in the beginning, you want to know someone's intentions. And if a guy gives off, he doesn't care, then you're like, okay, that's what makes a girl kind of fall back and question, like, does he like me? Does he not? And you don't want a girl to kind of go back and forth. So yeah, I prefer genuine interest and showing me.
So threading the needle a bit, right? So you want to get enough attention, but not be overwhelmed and overstimulated from this person and feel like they're needy, right? So, but you want enough to know that they like you. So there's always that stigma I hear out there that women get bored of that and then they go seek excitement and chase the one that doesn't give them attention. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
moving along. Did you want to say something, Renee, about that?
Yeah,
That's a
I
thing.
think yeah, I think that one word that Gina used was genuine. I think if you show up with genuine effort and care, then that is completely different than not. Like make sure you're showing up because you want to show up, because you want to push the relationship forward. Don't just show up with fake words. Just be genuine and be yourself. And if we're not, if we're in a relationship and it's not going to work out, don't keep showing up just to do that, to think that you're saving my feelings, like show up genuine.
Be
So,
real.
yeah,
Be real is all you
be
can do.
real.
Be yourself and be
Exactly.
real. It's hard to do in this day and age, I think. So, all right. So the next piece of content we have here is: can male and female friendships truly be trusted? So that more or less be, you're dating somebody that has a bunch of, for you guys, male friends or female friends, whatever it is, of the opposite sex, essentially. So, Renee, I'll let you start here. What do you think about that? Can male female friendships truly be trusted? And I got a poll on this. I'll read after you ladies speak.
Yeah, I think that male and female friendships can truly be trusted as long as they are truly platonic. Being in past relationships with males where I believed that the relationship was truly platonic until moving forward when I was in a relationship, realizing, oh, that wasn't really truly a platonic relationship because they just kind of disappear out of your lives. But do I think on a trust basis in relationships, women and men both know why they're showing up to that friendship? So. Um, I think that it takes a strong person to be able to trust the other individual in the relationship and to be secure in themselves in order to, I guess, not allow their partner, but trust their partner in that platonic relationship with the opposite sex. So I think that's probably a bigger conversation for that couple, but I think that they can be friends, just
Okay.
strictly friends. No, um, sexuality to it, but I think they probably have to be committed to it because sometimes it can walk a very fine line if the other person does in their back of their head think, I'm only in this because if she's not with that person, then I want her for myself. That's
Hmm.
not a true platonic friendship.
Gotcha. Gina, what do you
Mhm.
have to say about this?
I think it could work. I have guy friends that are like my brothers. I talk to them about everything, but it could work if you've never had like previous, like you've never hooked up or had, you know what I mean? Like I think if you've had like whatever with them, I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, if
Um,
you've had a past with them, basically like a
yes.
romantic or sexual past. Right.
Yes, exactly. Like if you have a romantic and sexual past with them, I mean it could work, but I just feel like there's always that little temptation there maybe. I don't know. But or maybe not a temptation, but if it happened in the past, I don't know, me as a if I was someone's girlfriend, I don't know if I would want someone being friends with someone that they had a past with. I don't know if I mean I would deal with it, but
Yeah.
I think I would kind of question it a little bit. But I do think it could work. I
It
mean,
could work.
everyone's different.
I think there's
So,
definitely, yeah, different scenarios for this for sure. What about
yeah.
you, Crystal? What do you think?
I don't think a guy and a girl can be just friends. I think what happens is sometimes if you were dating and then the dating didn't work out, you kind of remain friends with that person because maybe you guys talk really well or have good conversation, but you guys were dating. So there was a connection at one point. I also think, let's say you've never dated, but you guys are just friends. I do believe one of the other person has looked at the other and thought maybe or was attracted to them. And like we were all saying, like there's a gray line. If I'm in a relationship with a man and I have men that are friends, if I'm in a fight with him and I go talk to my guy friend about it, what do you think he's thinking? Oh, well, maybe if they break up, I'll be the one that's going to support her. It seems disrespectful when you're in a relationship to have the opposite person in your life as well. I don't need another man's perspective or conversation if I have a boyfriend. It just feels disrespectful to my man. I can't see a scenario in which you can just be friends with the opposite sex. Now, if you're working and you have coworkers and colleagues that are the opposite sex, I understand that relationship, but there's not one relationship where there's another man where maybe he hasn't thought of something with me, or I may have considered, oh, that guy is good looking. And I think it's a very scary line to play with. And I just don't think it's really possible.
Okay. Gina, Renee, any response to that? It was a little different than everybody else's view, which is okay.
Well, I think it takes strong boundaries, and then also knowing the person of the opposite sex that you're being friends with, right? Where did you meet this person? How long have you known this person for? What kind of friendship bond do you have? Is it open to where the person that they're in a relationship with know who you are, that type of thing? Or is it secret, right? If it's some type of secret friendship that your partner doesn't know about, then I can see a problem. But otherwise, having platonic friends, I wouldn't in a relationship probably run back to that gentleman and say, oh my gosh, this is what's going on with my relationship. Like you said, Crystal, out of respect thing, I would usually probably talk to my girlfriends about that, not a male. But if the other person in the relationship also knows that you're in a relationship, I don't know how disrespectful it would be if it is simply platonic. So I don't know.
But is it ever simply platonic?
Yeah,
I have platonic friendships with males.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
Never
mean,
been
mhm.
attracted to them or they've never been attracted to you. And
no.
Never.
That's a tough one, guys, because
Yeah,
like
it's
there is a
tough.
lot of different things. Like if you knew them since you were like 3 years old, there's this, sometimes if you've known somebody for so long, for me,
Yeah.
like I know there's females that I know that I've known since I was young, and that there's just no chance that that will ever flip to a sexual or a romantic type thing, I think. But that's just my 2 cents. We're not here to get
I have
married.
another question with that.
Yeah,
So let's say I'm going to, Michael, we're putting you on the spot.
that's
Let's
fine.
say you're in a relationship, right? And you and your relationship are kind of getting into like a little bit of an argument or fighting. And like you just go to your friend from 3 years old just to get a female's perspective and just have a conversation and bounce ideas off of it. Is that appropriate? Where instead of that conversation, shouldn't you be going to your girlfriend and having that conversation? When you have that other side to bounce ideas off of, I don't know if that's a safe route in your current relationship.
Too many variables, I'd say, because if I felt like I couldn't reach my significant other, in a sense, if there's an argument and there was just no communication, there was a blockade in communication,
Yeah.
then I would have to consult with somebody of what to do. Um, you guys have spoken to some men in your lives, and you were not always exactly emotionally intelligent or available for these kinds of things. So to go to my male friends could be a lost cause. You get some kind of surface level thing, like just ditch the bitch or some shit. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, oh, if this is a fucker, those other bitches will go out and shit. I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, no. So in a sense, it sometimes is good, but it doesn't have to be that. I mean, some people don't have, sisters or female family or anything, but I think it's just too much of a gray area, and I believe that it really will come down to people's intent, and it comes down to trust, like the last two we just talked about, trust and communication, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, there's no wrong answers. That's the good part. All right, here's one. Um, who should do the planning, communicating, and carrying of the emotional weight in a relationship? Do men lead on this, or is it a tandem effort? Crystal, you can start here.
I think men should lead. I think we're missing that a lot. And I think sometimes there's resentment with women when they are taking the initiative or they are leading. They might do it at first to get the ball rolling, and then they want their guy to lead. They want them to be the man. And I think we get away a lot from, feminism and masculinity. And for me, take the lead. I will follow and I will eventually join you in that, but I think in the beginning they should be doing that.
Okay. Gina?
I agree. You got to let the guy lead. I've been told this numerous times by friends, Gina, let them lead. I get a little impatient. But yeah, you have to let them lead. And also, too, that's going to show you, too, someone, someone's true colors are eventually going to show. So if a person, and again, that's not saying if someone doesn't lead, maybe they're just different, but I think when a man leads, that's also showing genuine interest in you. And that also makes the girl feel a little bit more confident too, where we're not always second guessing and overthinking everything. So yeah, I do agree with that. In the beginning, I do think a man should lead. Eventually I will. Because again, too, guys are making decisions all day, we do too, but sometimes I think too, eventually as you establish something, I think a girl should, help him out a little bit. And you could lead to, even if it's so much as you suggest something to do later or something. I don't know. But I do think in the beginning, the man should lead and then the woman eventually can help him.
Fair point. Very good said. Very well said. Renee?
Yeah, I agree. I think most definitely in the beginning, the man should lead, which for strong women is really hard because we want to push for exactly what we have this picture in our head to look like of what things should be, a first date or third date or whatever else. But I think as a relationship develops and you're in it for some time and for years to come, I think it's probably a tandem mutual effort when it comes to communication and especially emotions. A lot of times, I think. Men, don't really necessarily carry the emotional weight very well as often as women do. So sometimes women have to open up more and maybe push for more of that emotional connection or conversation. So as time goes by, I think maybe it should be more tandem because I mean, why can't women plan dates for men too once you're in a deeper
Yeah.
relationship? But in the beginning, again, that kind of goes back to our first question, showing that genuine interest. What are you planning? Where are you putting me in your life? Plan, lead, communicate, and show your emotions.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well said. I think we're all on the same page there. And speaking of backtracking, I did not read the poll results from the last one about male
Uh,
and female friendships, which
Fingers.
came in. We did Facebook and Instagram. That came in at 74% said yes, that they can be, 26% said no. So that's
Okay.
where that was. So that's kind of what we have on that. Moving along, ladies, we're going to do a little ranking here. Okay. We're going to start back with Renee here. So rank these from most to least important to you
Oh gosh.
on a man. Look, on a man. Looks, personality, financial standing, and intelligence, which incorporates both emotional and cerebral intelligence. So that's looks, personality, financial standing, intelligence. Renee.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to say number one's gonna be personality for me. Super important. Number two is gonna be intelligence, cerebral and emotional. Number three is gonna be looks. And then some women might not agree, but for me, financial standing is the least important thing to me when it comes to a man.
Okay.
So,
All right. Crystal.
So I hate this question because it's not going to come up great, but I just feel like when you're meeting someone or dating someone, the first thing, unfortunately, you notice is looks. If I even want to have a conversation with you, and I don't think that's first, but it's the first thing I notice is how you look. So I'm kind of putting it there. The next thing would be personality. If you can make $10 million, but if I can't talk to you, I really don't care. So it would be personality. And then I feel like if you have good, what was it, financial standing? Was that
Financial
it?
standing or
yeah.
intelligence?
So I feel like if you have good financial standing, you're probably very smart. So I'm going to say financial standing because that's going to be that you're intelligent.
Okay. Makes sense. Gina, what do you got?
So again, like Crystal, I mean, looks isn't number one for me, but that is the first thing you notice off of
Yeah.
somebody. But if I had to rank it, I would have to say intelligence first. Because I mean, and you can tell, I feel like intelligence and personality both kind of go together. So intelligence, personality, looks, and financial stability. I don't care really how much a guy makes. I actually think, I mean, not that I think it's unattractive, but if a guy's like bragging, like, oh, I make this much, that right away, I'm going to be like, okay, like that's not, and again, I don't want a man to think that I'm shallow where that's all I care about. I make my own money. I don't need someone to brag about what they make. So, I mean, financial stability is the least of my worries. Someone could, work up, but definitely I need someone to like have emotional intelligence and a personality. Like you have to make me laugh, So I don't want to talk to somebody that's like dull. And I feel like you do know that. Like you notice looks right away, obviously. But then, even in first couple conversations, you're gonna kind of see that if you can, have a conversation with them or not. If I feel like I can't have a conversation, usually I won't really like I'll just try to nicely stop it. But you usually can tell that within the first couple times you talk to someone.
Right. No, it makes sense. I think that I would say that I think the financial standing thing, I don't think it's as important as it would be if it was like if it's poor financial, like if there's really bad with money. I think that would be an issue because that
Yeah.
that would become a problem. But like boasting, like you said, about what they have, whether it's a bank account, a job title, cars, status, all that stuff, that can kind of come off as a sense of insecurity in a man, I'd say.
Yeah.
In a way, they're kind of
100%.
compensating for
Mhm.
something else, and they have to show that off. So, and a lot of times when they look rich, they're actually in pretty deep debt. So
Right.
you never know.
Mhm.
You never know what you're going to get
Mhm.
with that. So
I
all right,
agree.
good answers there. So on to the next one. Um, what is the social media etiquette when in a romantic relationship? So this is one that gets really messed up. Like who he's following, what photos he's liking, the messages, all that stuff. Who's commenting. Like, what do you do when you get involved in this thing? And let's see, who did we not start with last? Let's start with Gina on this one.
Oh gosh. Okay. So like etiquette, like are you saying like if we're dating somebody, what we think?
I
Is that
guess
the
like I
question?
guess let's say at this point it's a relationship. It's not
Mhm.
like you're just starting
Okay.
off because at that point it's sort of like you're not exclusive yet, so it really doesn't matter. And
Okay.
you're going to get
Um,
an idea of it, but from that, but like you're in a relationship, you've established exclusivity, and now the social media activity that you can observe. What's the etiquette around this?
again, I don't really now if I start talking to a guy and I see his following list looks like he does eyelashes and follows a million different girls, you're even if you become exclusive with them, what are you going to do? Tell them you need to unfollow? I think that's insecure. So, following list, I can care less about. If you want to follow a million girls, go ahead. I don't care. Now, as far as liking stuff, once we're exclusive, if I see you liking, now I don't care if I see him liking, like girls that he knows, but like if I see him liking like half dressed naked models or girls working out or just, I mean, now Instagram has that like little tab where you can see stuff people like. And if I see him liking a lot of stuff and he's dating me personally, I don't know if I would use the word insulted, but I kind of feel like in a way that's kind of a little bit disrespectful. But then again, like, how do you bring that up? Like, why are you liking this stuff? You don't want to look like that crazy girl. So I don't know. I'm like torn on that. Obviously, I wouldn't like it and I'd have to have a conversation. It all depends on what he's liking. So if it's motivational stuff, I don't care. But if it's half dressed girls that are like, I don't know. I would not like that, but I don't know how I would approach it. So
No, that's why it's a tough thing
yeah.
because there's so many different viewpoints, and I don't know, but let's hear another one from Renee. How about you? What do you think?
So I think there's a before me and then there's a once you have me. And so whatever your follow list looks like today, whether it's you're following big juicy booty number 55,
I
right
love
now, that's
I love that page.
I'm
Get
just
off of it.
like I'm
Just
just
kidding.
saying you
That's a
can
lie.
I don't expect you to go through in a relationship go through your follow list and like unfollow hundreds of
Yeah.
people that you have followed to get your rocks off in the years past, whatever. I know I'm being very blunt. I don't care. I'm sorry.
No,
You
let
don't
it
have to
have
go and
go.
follow them, but like moving forward, like Gina said, it can be slightly come off disrespectful. And to be honest, if you're following women, liking women's posts that are, scandalous,
Yeah.
and you're messaging them, which I don't know how you would know a man's messages, but you can probably get an idea if you can see that they're following these women and that they're liking all these women posts, that there could be possibly something going behind the scenes that you don't know. Um, but if you're doing that, that's a complete turn off, I think, for me. So is it allowed? I would say you can really do whatever you want, but I'm going to take that information and I'm going to use it as information for myself to know like this is who you are. Like if you're consistently adding a bunch of women every day while you're hanging out at home and we're not together and for your viewing and you're liking and you know scrolling watching numerous women's scandalous videos and liking them, that's kind of who you are as a man, and I'm sorry, but that's not the kind of man that I want. So
So,
I
okay, that
I
makes
just leave it
sense.
at that.
So, like, Renee, there's like a difference between a photo of a just a random selfie of a female person and
Mhm.
a like bathing suit photo. Is that different?
Well,
Totally
okay, so
different?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yes. And also, who are these people, right? If I'm in a relationship and you're liking, you know, the girl that you went to college with photo and, you know, whatever else, who cares about that? I'm talking about the scandalous stuff that, you know, that people are making money off of on Instagram and things like that. If you're going to follow those kind of things, no. But if you're, you know, you're liking Jessica's photo from, you know, from high school, that's a picture of her and her kids or whatever else, like cool, awesome, live your life, you know, or like Gina said, motivational videos or whatever else that have women in them, if they're or if you know them before we were dating or whatever else, or before our relationship, then okay, that's cool. But I'm talking about the grimy stuff,
Yeah, I
you
got
know.
you.
That on social media, I think that's just like a darker place that men, I guess, and women can probably go to, which for me in a relationship, it's such a turn. I think it's just such a turn off. It's like, and I hate to use the word, but it's an ick to me. Just,
It
ugh,
is.
ugh.
It
Like,
is.
is that what you're doing when you're not with me? Because I
Hmm.
feel like you should be planning the rest of my whole entire life right now. That's what you should be focusing on because you have me in your hands right now. And if you're focusing that all of that energy into those other women on frivolous things like the internet, you're about to have the biggest whole entire fumble of your life. That's
What
it.
about if they comment on it? I've had this in the
That's
past where I was
gross.
like, are you
That's worse. Yeah.
kidding me?
That's
I'm like, this is terrible. I saw it and I was like, and like, what are you gonna say? I saw you comment on this girl
You're
and
gonna say
it's a
that.
raunchy,
Yeah.
like girl in a G-string. I'm like, you know what? That's
no,
no, leave me alone.
that's
No,
gross.
you got it. Crystal, what do you say?
So I think we get information before the information. When you start dating and you're on their Instagram, you already see what kind of man this guy is. So you're going into this already knowing if he has if he's following 3,000 women that are half naked, you already know this information. Now, that is before you, like one of you said, this has happened before you. Maybe that's what he did. If you get into a relationship, at least for me, I am going to say this is not appropriate and it needs to be cleaned up. It's not appropriate and I'm not going to have it in my life. If you're not going to say it in front of me or do it in front of me, then you don't do it behind my back. So if you're not going to like, Jessica's photo in front of me, you're not going to like it when I'm not there. So there has to be a respectful way when you're on the internet. You're not DMing these women. You are going to unfollow the half naked women. It's not appropriate. Just like you wouldn't want me having 3,000 half naked men on mine. You
Mhm.
wouldn't like it. So, you know, I think you have that conversation, and I think it's a fair conversation if you are in a relationship. And if he respects you and loves you and wants to grow a future with you, he's gonna have no problem deleting these women. And we're gonna know the fire emoji sent out or the heart. We're gonna see it. So it just depends on the man. But yeah, I'm one to open my mouth and say it. If they don't want to respect me, that says enough, and we move on.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if I can follow up real quick,
Mhm.
Michael, I think too, like Gina said, there's the tab where you can sometimes see what people are liking. And I think most of us have children here. And as our kids get older, I know my kids are a little bit older, they're teenagers and they have social networking. So if you're in a longer term relationship and you start involving your kids, like these children, and you become friends on the social networking, things like that, that means my children are now going to see what you're liking. So you need to be very careful on what you're doing on social networking because it's not just me who's going to see it. It's my family, it's my children, it's coworkers, it's everyone else. And how you show up like that is either you're respecting me or you don't respect me. And like Crystal said, it can come off very disrespectful. And I feel like the three of us are probably very secure women in ourselves. So we don't have a problem saying it's gross. It's gross behavior, it's disrespectful, and remove them. But I think there comes a time to have that conversation, obviously, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes total sense. I think it comes down to you can be as secure as you want, but you still want to be respected, right?
That's exactly
So
it.
so that's kind of what it is. And you both mentioned to Jessica, two of you. I don't know who's Jessica, both of you. Shout out to Jessica. Jessica from high school, she
There's
said.
always a Jessica.
There's
Oh,
always a Jessica starting some shit, isn't there? Crazy. There's a meme out there that said,
Always.
I never met a baby named Jessica. They're always full grown. Have you ever heard that one? I saw that. I never met a little kid named Jessica before, but
That's
whatever.
fun.
So anyways, it sounds like, with social media, the thing that's, even sparked this entire episode is that like we live in a time for the first time ever. This is basically only the last maybe 15 years or so, maybe 20 tops, is that we can actually be sitting there talking to multiple people at one point. Like it's possible to do. You can be laying in bed, sitting next to your significant other, and you could literally be emotionally cheating on them right next to them. That was never possible at any point in human history before that. Just never happened before. So I don't think maybe people don't know how to manage this and do it. So I don't know. There's a lot of that. But segueing into the next piece here, just the dating app thing. So pros, cons of this. I hear nobody likes this thing. It's terrible. It's toxic. It's not good. But then some say that's how else am I going to meet anybody? So Crystal, what do you think on dating apps? Are there pros, cons? What do you say?
I've tried them. I've been on them, and I've noticed that it kind of feels like Instagram on a dating app. And I hate to point out, but these men that are there for the likes. You have a couple of exchanges of conversation and then nothing else. It feels more like a dopamine hit for them. It feels very unintentional. There's no intentional getting to know one another and then going to dating. Um, I haven't seen any pros at all. I do understand why women go on there because I went on there because I'm not one, I never get approached out when I'm outside, wherever I am. Men are not approaching women. So I thought to myself, if I go on a dating app, maybe then I'd be putting myself out there and then a man would approach me. But then it's not it's not forward moving, it's not intentional dating in my experience. So I think it's bad. I think it's just another way of Instagram and Facebook to get likes and get attention. Men are, I feel like they're going on there to be like, oh, she likes me, and then never talk to them again. And it doesn't feel good. I've had no luck on it.
No, that makes sense. And then you said something kind of important in there that I want to actually add to this. And I'll let you go first. Men are not approaching women in public, in reality, in real life. Why? Why do you think that is? Do you have any inkling in your head, Crystal?
Um, I was talking to a man about this, and he told me that he was afraid of rejection. And I think we are so in the world we're in now is we hide behind our phones and we have the text messages where if you don't get a response, you don't feel anything. Whereas a man, if he goes up to a woman now and she's not interested, they don't actually know how to register that or deal with that emotion. They don't have a system. So they just avoid it at all costs. And they find I could just go on Instagram and I'll get someone's attention that way. I don't know why. I mean, I think they're just afraid of her not being interested. And it stinks because back in my day, we would do that. Men would approach women. We would have conversations in real life. And I think we're just stuck behind our phones now.
Yeah, like a bit of a safety net in a sense,
Totally.
right? So, Renee, going back to the dating
Yeah.
apps first, and then you
Hmm.
can go with that. What do you say?
Yeah. So I've actually never, I'm a relationship girl, so I've never, not to say you're not, but I'm just saying I've never used a dating app, but I do have a lot of friends that have used dating apps and they're on there. It seems on and off, it's very finicky. They'll go on, they'll talk to a couple of guys, they'll get a couple of dates here and there. And then it's almost like they said, and like Crystal said, it's not intentional. It's like dopamine hits. And I think that kind of goes back to social networking too. It's like we're all kind of just searching for that next temporary high really quick. And I know a gentleman, I obviously can't use his name, but he is very much what seems to be addicted to dating apps. The constant swipe. No matter where he is, he's just constantly swiping, sitting in his vehicle, at work, at the gym, like just doing this. And I think it's the possibility of having so many different options right in the palm of your hands that you can almost hand pick exactly what you think your type is or exactly what you would want and if that person would fit in your box of perfect woman, you know? And I don't really know if that's possible or if that's real life, but that's almost like what they're searching for, I think sometimes, is
No,
my opinion on it.
no, that makes sense. And then
And
how about
I don't think it's good. I think men should be approaching women. I mean, I get approached sometimes at the gym. Um, and then otherwise it's just lots of glaring and
Mhm.
catcalling.
So you keep coming up with new content in this one. You guys are doing great here because now I want to ask you what you think about being approached at the gym, but we're gonna get that off base. So Gina, what about you? The dating app thing versus and then also like being approached in public in reality.
I have never been on a dating app. Never. My friends always are like, Gina, just get on one. I'm like, absolutely not. I've heard, I've actually heard positive things and negative. I've heard from a lot of different people. It just seems like it's very transactional. That's not really what I'm looking for right now. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have a desire to really go on a dating app. I mean, I go out a lot. Do I get approached? That's a yes and a no. Sometimes I get approached. Sometimes when I do get approached, I have a man tell me that I look unapproachable. Um, I do kind of have a little bit of a resting bitch face sometimes. It depends on who I'm with and like where I am. Sometimes I'll be smiling. Sometimes I might be looking down at my phone or you know what I mean? I have one of my best friend's boyfriends is always like, Gina, you wonder why you don't get approached. Put your phone down. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
there's no one here that I even want to approach me. So again, it all depends on my mood and where I am. But I mean, I would like to be approached, but I've been told by numerous people like, Gina, you look a little scary. I you're not really approachable. So
Well, that's everyone's personal opinions and perceptions. But you actually, I don't know if you know it, but you actually basically kind of answered this whole thing when you were talking because you said you don't get approached when you're looking down at your phone. So if
yeah.
everybody's on dating apps and they're
Mhm.
out and they're looking at their phone, swiping away,
Yep.
no one's going to approach you in public because you're staring into your phone. And that goes with anything. So that's what they're doing. They're out in public, but they're still living in the screen trying to find somebody and not looking up around them. And I wonder how many decent connections have been missed strictly because we're looking down. I don't
Mhm.
know. We don't
Point.
know those answers. I don't have those
Point,
numbers.
Michael.
Yeah. What's that?
Good point, Michael. Good
Yeah,
point.
I
That was a
try.
good point.
I try to. I try. I try. And believe me, I will say this right now. I'm not saying that from a pedestal. I am absolutely terrible with attention spans and looking at my phone and all of that. So, next up here, you guys ready for the next one? You guys doing okay? No
Yeah.
one
Doing
needs
good.
a no one needs a breather. All right, good. All right, a man admits his faults and shortcomings early on meeting him. Is this a turnoff demonstrating low confidence, or does it show humility and some emotional intelligence? So I know there's a lot of ifs to this, but overall, if he's pointing out his shortcomings, his faults, and what he's done wrong in his life, is that good, like openness, or is it low confidence? Renee?
Yeah, I think it depends on what it is. I don't think we need to trauma dump on a first date or in the beginning of the relationship and tell me everything you ever did wrong or what your faults are, why your last relationships ended consistently or all of that. I think you can obviously have a fresh start in any situation. I also probably wouldn't want to know, how much money you're making and things like that right away. So maybe not right away. But I think through good communication and conversation, opening up each person, opening up, saying, what might be some issues that they may have had in past relationships where things may have ended, whether it's communication based, if they're super anxious or if they're avoidant or things like that. Having those bigger conversations where because I think when one relationship ends and the next one begins, people have to take what they learned from the last one and bring it into the next one and kind of learn from that. So if that person is really struggling and trying to work on changing something that is kind of been the way that they are, and if we're in our upper 30s to 40s or even early 30s, whatever, we're used to functioning a certain way. So maybe bringing that forth earlier in the relationship so they know that something, so the woman knows that's something you're working on to do better. So if it comes up, it's not necessarily a huge red flag to that woman because she's like, oh, okay, like this is something he's working on, you know? And really at that point, I think it's probably up to the woman to say, this is something I want to work for with you or not, right? Because if you're coming in with tons and tons of baggage like that, and if the woman's like, I don't know if this is really going to work out, they can kind of make that choice going forward.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Gina, what do you think?
Actually, I think it's attractive for a man to show like vulnerability. So for
Hmm.
me, and I'm not saying like first date, tell me your whole life, but
Hmm.
I would rather know sooner than later. Because then you're gonna know too, like we don't have time to waste. You know what I mean? I want to know if this is
Hmm.
gonna work or if it's not. You know, I don't want this dragged on and then in 18 months, oh hey, you know what? I don't like you. You know, I want to know off the bat if whatever, you know, I'll tell you eventually, but I do think it's important for someone to show their vulnerability. For me, I think that's so attractive if a man shows me that. And yeah, I mean, I'll be open with you too. Now, I don't want to be trauma dumped on, but at the same time too, I do want to know. And then, you know, you decide easy, like quicker on, where then you're not dragging on time for 5, 6 months or however long. You know, I would personally rather know sooner than later and then make that decision. And again, too, you want to know, I mean, it's all different what it could be. Now, if someone tells me, hey, I have a gambling problem, that's going to be a hard no for me, you know? So it just depends on what it is. But for me, and maybe that wouldn't be a hard no. I don't know. That's just like my thoughts going off right now. But I would rather have a man show some vulnerability. I think that's super attractive for me.
All right.
For
Cool.
sure.
Cool.
Yeah. After a couple dates though, like not the first, second date.
No, not
I
the
don't want
first,
all,
but
I don't want
like
to know all that. You're giving me
second,
pressure right
third.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Just not like day one. Like, oh
No,
my
not day
gosh, I'm gonna
one.
run.
nowadays with dating, you might already know that before date one because typically you probably text for 5 weeks before you fit something in your schedule
Ugh,
to see
that's
anybody,
the other
right?
problem.
That's another thing we're not even talking about, the scheduling aspect of all of this, right, Crystal? But anyways, we'll go to that's another thing. But what about you on that whole vulnerable versus is it emotional intelligence? Is it trauma dumping? What do you think?
I love and appreciate a man. I don't care if it's the first date or the second date, when you tell me your shortcomings. At my age, at 40, we had an experience. We already had a whole half a life. So we have something that we've gone through, we've been through, that we're working on. What's really important to me when they come to me about their past relationships or what they're working on or what their issues were is, how are you working on that now? What are you doing in this moment that's intentional to fix the problem? Do not just tell me I have trust issues and I cheated and I'm doing all these things. Great. But now what? Okay. Because now we have another 40 years of our life. Are you in therapy? Do you have a life coach? Are you reading any books? Do you have a mentor? What are you doing to get better? Because I don't care. We all have stuff. I got plenty of stuff that I'm working on, but I'm intentional on what I'm working on. So tell me your shit. I want to know, but what are you doing now to be better? And I don't care if it's the first date. I'd rather know the first or the second date, to be honest, because I don't got time to waste.
Right. That sounds really good. And I think I like what you said there because it's like, hey, I'm going to tell you, I think the difference is trauma dumping is telling you all the problems and not what I'm doing about it.
Correct.
You said come up with the solutions. So like anytime you have a problem, it's always good to follow it up with a solution to be proactive. So I think I like what you said there. So yeah, so you're going to go ahead and list all that stuff off. Hey, this is what I'm doing about it. This is how I fixed it. I'm just being honest and upfront with you of who I am and where looks like it's going to be headed. And that's my intention, right?
Yep.
That's the way to do it. Very good. See, some men listening should learn from that. That was a good one. Very
Go to
good.
therapy.
Go to therapy. Don't be
Go to
afraid.
therapy.
We got a good one
Don't
coming
stop.
up later on that too. And ladies, also, I am just kind of calling out stuff to keep organization and all that. But if you have something to say, just say it. There's no rules here. So just go.
Talking to women on Instagram isn't therapy. Just so you know.
No, that's not,
Talking to the girl from middle school is
what
not
about
therapy
What about
either.
Chat GPT? Is Chat GPT accurate therapy? How about that? Some people are using that.
I always talk to Chatty. At the end of the day, she's
My
exhausted.
best
She's
friend.
like, leave me alone, Crystal. I've had enough.
Yeah.
That is,
Funny
Put your
that you
hand on
bring
your
up.
chest and count to 5. I don't know if you,
yeah, it
that's
says the
usually
same
what she
shit.
tells me when I'm anxious. Put your hand on your chest, put your feet on the floor and count to 5. Find 5 things that you can see, 5 things
Mhm.
that you can hear. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
All the generic stuff, right? All the
But
same
yeah,
generic.
go to therapy.
Go to therapy, everybody. But let's see. So if you're going to go out on a date, and a guy's going to ask you out on a date for this next one here, is it acceptable? Is a coffee date, is going out for coffee an acceptable first date? I do have a poll on this one too that I will remember to read after we hear from you ladies. And I'm going to let's go with Gina to start on this one. Um, Coffee date, yay
I
or
would go
nay?
to a coffee date.
Okay.
I'm not, I see these things on Instagram where it's like first date, no, and it's a whole list of stuff. And I'm like, then these girls wonder why you're not asked on dates. If a guy sees you like that, he's gonna be like, oh, well, I don't want to ask her. But I mean, I'm open to a coffee date. I'm a little shy in the beginning, so I feel like that for me would be good. It would, it's not super dress up. It's a little bit more casual, a little laid back. So for me, a coffee date, first date would work. I wouldn't mind.
All right. Renee?
So I'm used to being the date planner, to be honest with you, and I can plan a mean ass date, like dinner, like you're looking at 250 maybe for the night. But as far as if it was having to be a first date, I think I would probably be. It depends on what the relationship already is like. How long have you been talking for? Is this just you met yesterday and we're gonna go meet up really quick for a coffee date, or have you been like you said, Michael, people text and they're talking, for months potentially before they even meet. Well, if that's the case and you're exclusively just only talking to each other for 2 months, you better be taking that woman on a really nice date and not just coffee? So I could see kind of both ways. It just really depends on how deep into, I guess, the talking stage you are, I think, with a person, to be honest.
Oh, very
But
well said.
I like big grand gestures, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. That's all very fair. Crystal?
So I don't agree with a coffee date. I think it's low effort. I think we're missing the point with dating. Dating should be fun. We are not enjoying going to a coffee date for 30 minutes. It's not fun. It's not exciting. And we're missing the point here when we're dating. We're just trying to get to the end. Is this guy my guy? Instead of just really enjoying people's company. Now, the guy who asked you out on the coffee date is probably the one that's only texting you. If he's just texting you and he's like, let's meet on a coffee date, yeah, he's always going to be low effort. He hasn't even tried to get on the phone with you to have a conversation or a FaceTime. And if he did, then he's not planning coffee. Then he's going to ask you out on a date. So you have to realize what you're getting yourself into. If you say okay to just texting, then you're going to say okay to just coffee date, and you're never going to get the thing that you really want. For me, if I'm talking to a guy and it's texting, the next step is plan a phone call with me. Let's get on the phone and see if we connect. Let's jump on a FaceTime. And then at that point, he's going to ask me out to dinner, or if we're going to get coffee, we're going to go on a hike, right? That's more energy. That's more intentional. Let's go out together. Sitting in front of coffee for, and I'm sorry, but a $12 coffee while you're in your work boots just to see if you like me. It's a pre-interview for the interview. It's not exciting for me. I don't want to sit in front of you and you decide if I'm worthy of you taking me out on Saturday. That's not how it works. So for me, it's like, get on the phone with me. If we can talk and like connect and we vibe and we FaceTime, then we're going to go out. But a coffee date is an
Mhm.
absolute no. I will not. That's just really minimal effort. And how many women is he doing it with? He's probably on the apps, like planning 4 coffee dates this week. I'm not one of the 4. You could do that with those girls, but I know my worth. I know what I want. I'm more intentional.
Mhm.
You'll
Let's
you'll
go.
know you'll know you're the fourth one when he shows up like this and he's not on cocaine because of all the caffeine he's been putting in his fucking body
Right,
Yeah, right.
on all the dates. He's
exactly.
like, you're my sixth date for the day, man. Let's
Exactly.
go. You know.
0%.
So, yeah, you've changed
Right.
my tune on that a little bit too. I was sort of more in the like, yeah, no, I get it, but I don't know. There's again too many variables, and again, it's not about me here. So the polls, they side with 86% said yes that a coffee date is acceptable. 14% said no. That was across both platforms. We had well over 100 votes on
Yeah.
that, which was cool to see.
Michael,
And
Because
what did you change your perspective on? Now I'm curious.
no, I do see how, that you can, it is transactional. It does feel like a bit of an interview. And I think getting away from the transactional stuff like the dating app swiping, the quick coffee date, like, hey, yeah, let's go and see. It's too rushed. It's too fast. On the other end of things, as a gentleman here that I'll loosely call myself, you've been on some dates and you drop a bunch of money on somebody and then they turn around and talk shit about you the next day or something. I'm not saying that ever happened to me, but I'm just saying
Right.
that, you invest into this person and you think it's going to be something. And I don't know. It does sadly comes down to money because I mean you're going to drop $250 on a dinner for someone that's going to ghost you the next day or something like that and not give you the proper
Yeah.
respect or something like that because most men most men don't even know it. We really just want to be respected. That's the bottom
for
line. I think
sure.
everybody wants to be respected, but
Mhm.
so
Men.
anyways,
But I think there's probably the reason why your poll is so high because I think there's a lot of women now who some of them don't mind doing that quick touch point coffee date because they're tired of wasting their time too and maybe going on seriously long dates for some men that are just kind of looking at them like they're
mm,
quick and disposable,
no, that's a
because they know that they're not putting the intention in,
mhm.
so if that's all you're getting, but then at the same time, I guess some ladies need to realize that they have to raise their standards. And if that's all they're getting, then they probably need to look at themselves in the mirror and say, if this is all I'm getting, then this is what they think I'm worth. And like
Yeah.
you said, Crystal, it's just not gonna fly.
I also want to just chime in, like, we teach people how to treat us. So what we accept, we're saying that's okay. So if we're allowing a man to just text us and then ask us out on a coffee date, you're saying this is acceptable behavior. Texting me is okay, and taking me out to coffee is okay. If you say, hey, I'd like to jump on a phone call so we could really get to know each other before our date, you're raising the standard. If they don't want to, that
Mhm.
is also okay. But then you're weeding out the ones that you don't want. And instead, we're kind of just allowing this behavior to happen without being intentional about what we really want. So if you don't want to just text all week, you say that. Hey, I'd love to jump on a call. If they ghost you, which I know we're going to get to, that's another thing. But we have to start raising our own standards to get what we actually want in dating. Stop accepting this bare minimum and then being mad that the bare minimum is all we get.
Mhm. From what
Quality.
sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Quality over quantity, is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah,
That's it.
that was it.
Yeah.
I haven't been
Okay.
on a
Yeah.
date in probably 5 weeks, 6 weeks, but it's because I'm not going to deal with the things that have been coming my way. I just say no, thank you, because it's not
Mhm.
intentional for me. I don't need to fill up my Friday on something that doesn't feel good to me. I'd rather just be home eating Chinese food.
Fair point. That sounds wonderful, actually.
It
Yeah.
was great
Yeah.
last
It's
week.
nice.
You might have just planned my evening. Thank you. Appreciate that. Renee, did you have something else you wanted to add?
I forgot.
That's all right.
ADD.
Oh,
I forgot.
believe me,
It's gone.
believe me, that happens to me multiple times a day.
It'll come
So,
back at 10 p.m. when I can't sleep
so
tonight.
there you
I'll be like,
go.
oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oh well.
Perfect. So there you go. Coffee dates. You know what they think. So proceed with caution. All right. Next up, let's see what we got here. When getting into a serious relationship, should we normalize going to couples counseling before things get bad? Kind of like a preventative therapy. Should that be more common? Because it seems like couples, obviously this is after you've been in something for a while, things go wrong, but you still, you don't want to just nix it and end it. Do you think that that's something that should be more regular and talked about? That just couples just go just for communication's sake? Renee, so you don't forget what I said, you can you can go first here.
Thanks, because I mean I
I
do have
kid.
it over here just in case I forget.
That's all right.
Um, I think in a relationship, if things start to go awry, I think that couples therapy would probably be a good choice to go down. I can tell you honestly, couples therapy in my relationships, I've never been successful with couples therapy just because there's so much deep-rooted trauma that the sessions end up being huge blowout arguments 9 times out of 10, or it just becomes kind of just so routine,
Mhm.
going so long continuously that we don't really get what we need out of it. But do I think that there's value in it for some people if they can continuously show up on purpose, and they see that they want to spend the rest of their lives with this person, then yeah, I think there's definitely value there.
So like to do it before things go awry.
Yeah.
Like, do you
Yeah, I
think
mean,
that's
yeah, I mean, I think we kind of talked about this before, but you know, yeah, I mean before like earlier in the relationship, you mean probably within like the
like
first year, you
yeah, I would
thinking?
say it's kind of a weird thing because it's not what's practiced. It's just something that
No,
seems
it's
like
not.
it just seems like that a lot of times couples get to therapy and it's almost too far gone in some instances, and
Yeah,
maybe that have going to some preventative therapy could prevent
true.
why they're going to therapy, and that we actually need this strictly as like a communication type of thing because
Yeah.
shit breaks down, right, Crystal?
Yeah, or they make big plans, you know what I'm saying? Like you could
Mhm.
have even if you don't necessarily do traditional therapy, you could have strict plans of how you're both going to show up for each other, whether it's a plan for your continuous dates, your continuous communication to making sure that you're not falling off. Because probably what 8 out of 10 relationships really start to fall off when people stop communicating. So if you have a really good solid plan on how you're going to continue staying connected and not really just starting to live separate lives, I think that's probably the best baseline, and bringing the therapy into it if you can afford it. Why not?
Yeah.
But making sure, I think most important outside of couples therapy is that the individuals are both going to therapy. I think that's very important. I know that's a whole different conversation,
Oh
so
yeah,
I'll digress.
that's for sure. Crystal, what about you?
I think this is like brilliant. Preventative therapy, it's brilliant and it's something I've never thought about or considered. And it's interesting because I do find in a lot of dating and relationships now, the communication is hard. And I think it's because of our phones. We're not used to communicating anymore. So communication breaks down in relationships. So preventative therapy with someone you're dating, I love it. Sign me up.
That's a good idea. And I do like what you said about the texting because things get lost in translation and context and people will there. I feel like when you don't see someone's facial expressions, you don't hear the tone of their voice, the voice that takes over is that just preconditioned whatever it is and how you process things. And you're going to kind of conjure up your own little meanings to their words and hear them a different way. Then you react to it and then it's a back and forth. And I know this from experience because
Same.
I sucked at it.
No, it's great.
Gee,
I love that idea.
right? Gina, what do you think? Preventative therapy
Um,
for couples.
so like, are you saying just to do therapy even if they're getting along, or like if they're fighting, go to therapy?
No, like for instance, you start up a relationship, you're in it for a few months, you guys really think you're liking it and you want to move it forward, you think it's got something to it. Like, should it be more normalized to at that point say, well, yeah, I do like this. This is really good. I think we should go to therapy to or a counseling to just assure that we're on the same page on things we haven't discussed. Maybe have a mediator there, a professional, maybe some sort of communications that came up. I don't know. It's just my thought process. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. Why not? I mean, I think therapy can help anybody. I really hate how a lot of people are so against it and have such a negative outlook on it, but I really think that everybody can benefit from going to therapy. So I think it would be a really good thing. In my past relationship, I think even if we would have gone to therapy, it would not have worked. But that's just I mean, that's what maybe preventative, maybe it would have. I have no idea, but I do think that's a good idea and it should kind of be normalized. And I
Yeah.
think people could benefit from it.
Cool. But yeah, and like you said though, it wouldn't have worked, you think, after therapy, but perhaps if you'd gone to therapy, maybe you would have found out that didn't not work sooner. Maybe. I don't know about your personal
Yeah,
situation,
finding
but
out that it wasn't going to work sooner, 100%.
right. So then you'd figure that out. And then
Yeah.
also, I think what that would do is just change the stigma because a lot of people think therapy means you're crazy or something like that. Kind of like
Yeah.
medication, right? Like medication and therapy, like it has the stigma of crazy pills and
Yeah.
nutcase doctors and shit. Like you have something wrong with you. I think that if you started doing stuff proactively,
Yeah.
it would kill the stigma and it would help the relationships and whether that helps them thrive or just get cut off there before you get into that traumatic stage of
Right.
screwing each other up. I mean, your nervous
And
systems are all fucked.
especially being Italian too, like when I told my mom, what do you mean you're going to therapy?
Hmm.
You know, us women, I'm surrounded by these strong Italian women that never say what's wrong. And they're like, oh, we're fine, we're fine. And then, I'm going to therapy. And they're like, why do you need to go to therapy? Because I need help. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I can't just emotionally always. I feel like the older generation is so normalized with being, just getting through it and being okay, where our generation, I really think we should embrace that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to not always be strong and to seek help for,
Hmm.
go to a therapist. I changed my life. And if it wasn't for my therapist, I don't know if that would have happened.
Hmm.
So, I really think that people should normalize
Well,
therapy. So
that's amazing that you did that. I think that's great.
yeah,
And that older generation has that. And I think also, like, if you really think you flip the script a little bit, like that generation and forever, we've been so conditioned to celebrate longevity, right? Like, you get an award for 45 years at a company, you get a happy 50th anniversary card, all this stuff. What if you're miserable in that job? What if you're miserable in that relationship and people are out there congratulating you and you realize you spent 80% of your life in the wrong place? And
right.
at the end of that, it's all congratulatory, and then you won, but who really won, right? You escaped something that wasn't going to work for you. So I don't know. I'm getting way too loud and talking way too much for this. So we're going to move along here. So there you go. Preventative therapy we think is not a bad idea. All right. Here's another one here. Do you think men and women, this one's, we can breeze through this one here because it's a little vague. Do you think men and women are often dating each other or the idea of each other? Crystal?
I feel like when I was younger, I was dating the idea of someone, and then I got married and then realized. I think now we're probably dating more intentionally. We're seeing how people are showing up.
Mm-hmm. Gina?
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one. I feel like I don't know.
In some cases, people will put I think like they'll see somebody and then they'll create this future in their head of
Mm.
what this is going to be and who this person is, and
I'm a
they'll see this and they'll literally it's subconscious and they'll believe it. Like, oh, okay, this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. They take that trajectory and they actually convince themselves by no fault of their own that that's going to happen, and then that person isn't matching what their thought is, and then that's when everything gets all fucked from there.
yeah.
It's just that unrealistic expectations. So,
Yes, unrealistic expectations are going to be like, I actually saved the quote. Hold on, I got to find it.
no, sure.
But unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. It is. If you and I am a victim of it. I just recently did this where like I'm a genuine person. So it's like I really want to believe that, the person's genuine and they just weren't. And I just kept like, I had this idea in my head. And then,
Mhm.
I realized it more than it hurts, no one really likes rejection. But yeah, I was a victim of it. I had an idea in my head where I liked the idea more than what I was being shown. Where then, I mean, you eventually have to wake up. Where my friends were like, Gina, well, what do you like? Do you not see? Like, what do you need to know? Like, you're seeing everything that you know what I mean? Like, that's what he's showing you. You need to come to the realization that the idea that you think in your head and what you want him to be is not who he is. So yeah, I think that, yeah.
And it's not just the idea; it's also chemicals in the brain. And
Yeah.
there's addictive chemicals within your brain. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but that will connect you to a human and their ups and downs and all their things. And you kind of get a hit of the dopamine hits through going back and forth. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not an expert at that at all, but I've heard it. So Renee, what do you think?
Um, Mine's gonna be really quick. I think you can't build a relationship with someone on the ideas and potential that you
Yeah.
think someone has, basically.
Right. So
Simple as
basically,
that.
got to live in real time and not get too carried away with your dreams and thoughts. And like we've been told since we were young, follow your heart and your dreams, right? And if that's your heart and your dreams, and that person's not on the same path as you, then it's going to be an issue down the road. All right. Well, what do you think when a guy says to you with these famous words? We'll see where this goes, or we'll see where it goes. Crystal, what do you think?
That is the nonchalant man that we spoke about earlier. And that man could just go on his way because he's not intentional with dating you.
It's going to see where it goes over a cup of coffee,
Yeah,
right?
go get your cup of coffee, get out of my face.
Renee, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I don't want to see where it goes. I want to hear from you where you want to take me.
That's a good one. Gina?
Yeah, it's gonna be a no for me.
Not a good statement. So seeing where it goes is not a good statement. Okay. Nix that out of your vocabulary, gents. All right. Let's see here. Since we're so connected, seemingly with endless options, are both men and women free to date as they wish until they've established exclusivity with someone. So, for instance, until you have said to someone in some fashion that this is it, you are the only person, or you're going to go old school, will you be my girlfriend, or something like that. Will until you've established an exclusivity, are men and women each side? There's no either or the other. Is everyone still capable to date freely in that instance? Gina.
I mean, yes, I guess. Me personally, if I'm talking to someone, I'm just talking to one person. But again, in the past, I've learned that men have several. I actually had one where I was talking to someone and I was out and he literally showed up with another girl. And I mean, I played it off cool. I really wasn't mad because we didn't have anything. And my friends are like, "Oh my God, aren't you so mad?" I'm like, "No, that's dating. Like, it is what it is. He's here with another girl. What am I going to do? Go up to him and flip out? I don't care, like, did it kind of, I was like, oh, whatever. Like, obviously, I mean, I don't dislike him. I just knew after that, like, this probably would never work. But I mean, that's the dating game. Would I do it? No. But has it been done? Do I think other people do it? Yes. So I'm gonna go with yeah, but me personally, I would not.
Okay.
But yeah.
Renee, what do you say?
Yeah, I from what I've seen with friends and situations is that no, I don't think that it's okay to date numerous people at once. I think that men, a lot of times, I think men, maybe some women, they also kind of keep a revolving door. But there's a lot of women that get attached very quickly. And sometimes that can be kind of used, I guess, against them because they're kind of on the hook. And then men know that they're on the hook, but then sometimes there's men just out dating tons of different women. And I've been out with friends before when they're dating someone, and then there's the man just literally on a boat we were just on last weekend with him, okay, driving by with his boat with another woman on it. Like, oh, okay. Well, while he's still texting her, planning the next date. And it's like, no, why are you doing that? That's gross. Obviously, she doesn't talk to said men anymore and hasn't since, but like, how seriously are you taking this? Like, you should take these things seriously, as this is one of the people that you potentially would want to spend the rest of your life with. If you're not dating that in that way and not intentionally, then what's the point of all of it then? If you're just gonna have a revolving door of women, or are you just sleeping around, really? Are you lying to all of these women and telling them what they want to hear?
Hmm, very
Calling
well.
you out right now, Ben. Let's go. You sleeping
Oh,
around? I mean, think about it though for a
Well,
second.
for
I mean,
my
what does that give you in
situation,
your head? And as a woman in your head, you're thinking, he was just with me last weekend. You've been dating for a couple of months. You're clearly sleeping together. And then you see him go by with another woman, just him and her on a boat. He's clearly sleeping with her too. Like, that's a quick way to get an STD. You can't be doing that. So,
I didn't sleep
bad
with
idea.
him, but I was texting him earlier that night, and then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going home. I'm tired," and then walks into the bar I'm at. I mean, and
Yeah.
actually walked up to me and introduced the girl to me. I was like, "Oh, hi." I was gonna be like, "Aren't you tired?" But
Are
then
you tired? Yeah.
I'm not gonna let
No.
anybody make me act crazy. Like,
Yeah, no.
because I didn't really have a lot with him. It was just more of like I
Okay.
mean, I talked to him briefly, and I didn't really care. But then I'm like. And then the next day he's like, we should talk. I'm like, there's really nothing to talk about, you
yeah.
Good
know?
for
Well, he
you.
he weeded it out for you, so you
Exactly.
didn't spend
Yeah.
another 2 or 3 coffee dates with him. So,
Gross. Just gross.
Crystal, how about you?
I'm not with the ladies on this one. I think when you are dating, you're dating. You could be dating multiple men, men could be dating multiple women. We are just talking, we are going out to dinner, we are trying on to see who we want to be with. Now, as soon as you become intimate with someone or I become intimate, that conversation needs to be had. With me, you will not be intimate with multiple people and me. That's when the dating stops. So if you are just meeting people, having dinner, talking, having conversation, texting, whatever, that's fine. I get that. I'm doing that as well. Once you are intimate with someone else or with me, everything else changes for me at that point. Because yes, you will not be sleeping with multiple people and me as well. I'm not sharing my body like that. You are not either. And if you have access to that, then we're having a stronger conversation. So yes, date multiple people until then on either end.
Okay.
I could see that. I could see that if it's just, surface level dating and you're going to dinner and you're doing things like that. But I mean, a lot of people, I'm gonna call it like I see it, they're sleeping together within the first day, couple of dates, and then these people are sleeping with other people as well at the same time.
But
And
I
like you
bring
said,
that
I
up.
think that's a no. That
I
like
make
that's where
that
I say like
clear.
if you're dating and you're sleeping together, because men can always say like, oh, we're dating, but they're dating numerous women and they're sleeping with numerous women while they're dating,
But
So
I have that
yeah,
conversation when I'm dating any man.
yeah,
We are
right.
dating. If you are going to sleep with somebody, I
Agreed.
need to know if you're
Hmm.
moving on in that direction with somebody else because
Right,
you will not be intimate with me and somebody else at the same time. I create a firm boundary there, and
right.
they have to respect that. Bottom line.
Agreed.
So as long as you're
And
clear, then they can do
mhm,
what they want.
right. But I think a lot of times they don't respect that boundary from what I've
Then you get rid of
seen
them.
sometimes. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying. It's inappropriate
exactly.
completely.
Very well. Very good. And I think sometimes exclusivity just shows up on its own. Like
Right.
essentially you'll find
Yeah,
somebody and your insides will tell you, okay, I don't want to do anything else here. I want to
Yep.
put this here. I think it'll come up and say it, but you got to communicate it after that. So
for
everyone's on the
sure.
same page and you know how it goes. So,
Hmm.
so you go on a date and you're out with a guy. Let's just say it's a first date. And what's worse? He disrespects the waitress or heavily flirts with the waitress. Which is a worse scenario? Crystal, which discomfort would you like to sit in?
So if a man is disrespecting the waitress, it's mean to her. It hurts her feelings. It's not acceptable, and I'm not okay with it. But if a man is flirting with the waitress, he is disrespecting her, disrespecting me, and disrespecting our time together. So I don't want him disrespecting the waitress at all, but it is a bigger disrespect to flirt with her because you're disrespecting three parts here.
Okay. Gina?
Yeah, if he's flirting with her in front of me, I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, why don't you continue the date with her and I'm leaving. But if he disrespected the waitress too, that would kind of bother me where I would be like, do you really need to talk to somebody like that? It would have to be the level of disrespect, like how he disrespects her. Like I don't like someone that talks down, that would bother me. Where even if he wasn't flirting with her, if I saw a man kind of talking down to a woman, I don't really know how I would feel about that. So I don't know. I feel like, I mean, flirting is obviously worse,
Okay.
but
Renee?
I'm gonna say they're either way, I'm leaving. Either which way, to be honest, I'm out. So
Okay. Yeah, they're both.
I would take them both equally as offensive. If you're going to talk to a stranger disrespectfully, then you're going to talk to me disrespectfully when you're comfortable. And if you're going to flirt and you're going to disrespect all three of us, I mean, that just says all I need to know. And I would not really want to even sit in there. I just tell them, I gotta go. Bye.
Yeah. No,
You
it's
know,
all disrespect and discomfort, right?
period. Hmm.
All right. Well, there you go. So you're going into the restaurant and there's a revolving door, an actual revolving door, not a revolving door of people, just literally a revolving door. What is the etiquette? You know, if you're a gentleman and you want to, usually open the door for the lady, let her go first and you hold the door. That's a standard door. Now, when you go into a revolving door, what do? Do you let her go in the first pod and do that and push gently, or do you go first and lead, or do you try to be creepy and cram in to the pod with her and you go in like this, walking in small
Want
steps?
to see you do that.
You want to see? Yeah, right. So what do you think though? Like, I mean, maybe this is an obvious one, but I know I was at a revolving door once and it crossed my mind. So what do you think, Gina?
if he was in the same pod as me, I would be like, what are you doing? Please stop. But I think I would want him to go first and then like I'll just follow because if I go first, then I gotta push the door
Right.
and like so I think I would want him to go first. I've never had that happen, but that's a really good question. I think I'd want him first so he
So
could
the
like,
man would go first. He's pushing the door. You're scooting into the other pod, and
yeah,
then you end up outside of the place.
yeah.
Okay, Renee.
I would say the man is walking up to the revolving door with her and then kind of, has maybe if you're on touching basis, kind of guides her into there and then lets it go, and then he goes on the next one.
Okay, that's good. And Crystal?
That's how I see it. I don't know.
I have two opinions now because I had one and then Gina made me think of another one. So my first was the man would, so like the strongest wolf in a wolf pack is usually the guy in the back, right? The wolf in the back, he's the leader. So I feel like the guy should always be behind so he can see the danger in front, right?
Yeah.
So you lead the woman in, you push it, and then you're behind her. So you can
Yeah, that's what I was
see
thinking.
all the danger, right? That's how I
Yeah.
think. Even like at a restaurant where the guy sits, he should be looking at the front door to protect me. Anyway, but then when Gina was like, if he got in with me, like, actually, I think that'd be really funny. Like,
I
if we
would.
were
I
in
would
a,
laugh.
like a flirty way, and like, if he jumped in with me and like we're scuttling through the revolving door, I think that's kind of fun or funny. If we're at that point in dating, that actually might be really kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a case by case basis and how you
Right.
how you're with somebody. If it's been an
Mhm.
awkward little dinner or you're just
Right.
meeting each other, maybe that's
Don't
kind of
scuttle
weird.
with her.
You got to
Don't scuttle.
establish, you got to break the ice before you can get in
Yeah.
the same pod together,
But
I
it could
think.
be funny and fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So ghosting, we talked about that before, has
Oh,
become a big deal, and people get very frustrated with ghosting, not just in dating, but like in general in life. I mean, is it ever acceptable to ghost? I mean, outside of the obvious of like someone who's harassing you, okay, we know that. To ignore somebody who's harassing you and won't leave you alone, doesn't listen, okay, you ghost, you block, fine. But is it ever okay to ghost, Renee?
I'm gonna say, I think there's a little bit of variables there, right? If you're in the beginning and you're just having a couple of text messages back and forth, and then you decide you just don't, and have something else going on, you never text again, okay, whatever. But I think when you're dating someone that just completely ghosting and avoiding a conversation is super immature. And I don't think
Mhm.
there's any excuse for it. But I think if something is not working, right? If you're dating someone and it's not working, just say it, right? Say what it is, mean what you say, have a simple conversation, and then go. But if it's just early on, just a couple text messages like, hey, how are you? Like, hey, I saw you, or whatever else, and you're not feeling it, bye. No hard feelings.
Mm-hmm. Crystal?
I love a man who will ghost me. And here's why. You are showing me exactly who you are, probably early on. I actually wrote something down for this. It says sometimes the most thoughtful thing a man will ever do for you is make sure you don't spend the rest of your life with him. And if you ghost me, whew, good riddance. Thank God I did not spend any more time with you, waste weeks or months. If that is your behavior and that is how you communicate, you showed me early on, and I say good riddance. Thank you very much. See ya.
Good point. Gina?
Very true.
yeah, she kind of just changed what I wanted to say.
Very
I
convincing.
think ghosting is a no. If you don't like me, be real and tell me. Like, let's not waste time here. Let's not like, oh, I'm just going to avoid it. Like, be a man, speak up. Just like if a girl doesn't like it, be like, speak up and say, hey, I don't like you. Or, hey, you're a great person, but I don't think it's going to work out. I think ghosting it sucks. And a lot of people too, I think where people do it is sometimes they feel bad. They don't want to hurt the person, but you're hurting them too by not saying anything. So like, even for me, like I've had guys ask me out where I'm like, you know what? I actually don't want to go. Like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't really see me in like, not that I don't say like I wouldn't even enjoy dinner with you, but I'm just like, I don't really see a connection here. And I'm not gonna be one of those girls that's gonna, yeah, let's go to dinner. And I'm gonna go to dinner knowing that I have absolutely no interest in you. So I say it off the bat. I don't think that's ghosting, but I would want a guy to tell me, like, don't waste my time for months and then just ignore me.
Yeah. No,
So
you're right.
yeah.
Can
I
I
think we
say
need.
one more thing? Sorry, Michael.
Oh,
I just, for like the women out there that are taking ghosting personally, like I want to
I
help.
did.
I want to help change that perspective because it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And we as women have to stop taking that burden on when a man cannot communicate in a way that he's supposed to. It has nothing to do with you. It is the man. And what you need to do is look at that and say thank you for not wasting your time anymore.
Yeah.
Allow him to go on his way and waste someone else's time, not yours. So change the perspective on that. Do not Do not take that as you are not good enough or pretty enough or fun enough. That is not at all what the case is. Let them
Yeah.
ghost you. Say bye.
Right.
Go find a guy that's much better.
I think it's okay, like once it happens, that you have to put yourself in a certain headspace to say, oh my gosh, thank goodness that, I kind of dodged a bullet there. But
Yes.
should it be acceptable right off the bat? I don't think it should be acceptable. Like I don't think it should be the standard that we allow people to ghost. I think that they need to hold themselves to a standard to not avoid confrontation and be a grown up and say it. But do I think if they do it, should our whole entire emotional stability hang on whether or not this man is showing up in our lives? No, absolutely not. Like you said, Crystal, we need to take it how it is and switch the dynamic to say, like, I'm not going to be heartbroken over this. I'm not going to let it control my emotions. I'm going to move forward and realize that clearly this person has some deep-seated issues to the fact that they cannot confront me and they can't be honest with me, and which means they can't be honest with themselves, right? But do I think it should be appropriate and that men or even women should do that right off the bat? No, I don't think that they should. I don't think it's right because it leaves people hurt and heartbroken, and it causes people trauma depending how far into the relationship you are,
Mhm.
Yeah,
you
makes
know?
good sense. I mean, I do believe that, especially how far in you are, especially if it's been a lot of time,
Yeah.
they deserve some closure and an explanation. And I think that's another thing with ghosting that frustrates people is that we do like certainty and closure and finalities into things. And if ghosting feels like anything but that, but the way Crystal said it, it is a way to look at it that way. So very
Hmm.
good. I like that. All
For
right, I got
sure.
one more here, and then the poll with this, and then we're going to move along to the next portion of this. So, can relationships still work after someone has been caught cheating? What do you think, Gina?
If they're caught cheating, can it work?
Like after cheating, like somebody cheated and it's caught and they want to work it out. They're like, I made a mistake and they want to work it out. Can it go back to normal, basically?
No, it'll never go back to normal. But I do think that, I mean, if you can really get past that and trust the person again, maybe it could work. Me personally, once someone cheats on me, I am probably never going to trust you again. It would have to take of a lot of work for me to try to gain that trust back. Where I don't know if I'd want to play the mind games internally of what my mind will always be thinking. I don't know if I'd want to do that to myself, but maybe for other people, I mean, I've seen people do it. And it works for them, but me, I don't think I'd be able to.
Okay. And Crystal?
I mean, can it? Sure. Yes. I mean, anything is possible. Could you get past it? Absolutely. I think the work there is a lot. It is a lot of intentional work on both ends. Whoever cheated, they're going to be blamed for a lot. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work together and therapy it's going to be huge. So the short answer is yes, of course, you can work through it. It's up to the people if they really want to. But it's tough. I've been cheated on when I was 19. Our relationship was never the same. Again, we were 19, so I think that plays a role too, but that's tough. It's hard to get back.
Mm-hmm. Renee?
So I think that after cheating, a relationship can work, but I think it's never ever going to be the same. I think that betrayal creates trauma, and it rewires people's nervous systems a certain way. So if you're going to make the relationship work and you're going to stay in it, it's a lot of learning yourself and learning what triggers you. And then also digging deep to figure out why the cheating happened to begin with, um, and then making changes moving forward. But that, if you can move forward, realizing that last relationship that you had with this exact person that you're going to move forward with, that relationship's over, and you're starting a new relationship now, on a different type of footing, it could potentially work, but it take it takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of understanding. So,
Yeah, no, those are good
and I mean,
answers.
a lot of anxiety, trust issues, like just so much comes out of betrayal. And like I said, some people can just never get over that hurdle. And that's when that person has to go to therapy and realize that they have, trauma from that. I think both parties have to do the therapy and do the work for it to work
Right.
too.
And it'll never go back to what it was because what it
No,
was led somebody to cheat. So you wouldn't want it to go back to what it was anyways.
right.
So you either end it there or you do some deep, deep work and talk, and then you uncover some other things, and everyone kind of comes to a realization maybe it does. But according to our
Yeah.
polls, 89% said no, it can never go back to normal, and 11% said yes. But there is a little conflicting wordage there because going back to normal versus working it out are two different things. So
Right.
the way I asked it on there was, can it ever go back to normal? And it was
Yeah.
89 to 11. So,
Yeah. I think
um,
it dysregulates you when cheating happens and betrayal happens. It dysregulates you so much that there is no more normal for you moving forward. So that relationship, the normal in that relationship is done. There's nothing to go back to. So you can create a new relationship moving forward and a new normal, but that old one is gone.
okay.
So
All right. Well, that was good, you guys. We that was a kind of an aggregate of a lot of the social media kind of things that we had put in. So I know a few people contributed to that, and we just kind of put it all together. What was said as opposed to reading it all together to try to address everything. So before we close it up, I have a game we're going to play, and it's called Red Flag, Green Flag. Okay, you guys are free to elaborate on this. Just say one word, whatever you want to do. There's no rules really. Just the way it goes is if I'm going to read something off and you tell me if that's a red flag, not so much as like a warning, but like, are you out? That's a red flag. You're out, you're worried, you're gone. Green flag means, okay, I'm okay with this, or yes, I'll continue on with this relationship or this connection
go.
or wherever it is. Okay. So here we go. He asks to split the bill on the first date. Crystal.
Red flag.
Renee.
Deep red flag.
Gina.
Red flag.
Red flag. Okay, no splitting the bill. He smokes cigarettes or chews tobacco. Gina,
Red flag.
Renee, sorry,
Red.
Crystal.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say green flag because maybe it's his only vice and I'll help him out. Get over it.
Okay. After a few dates, you guys are talking, having a good time. It's fun, and you're just sitting out there, and he says to you, Renee, he says he's bisexual.
Okay, for me, that would be red flag, but there's some women that would be green flag. It depends on the woman. I'm going to
Oh, it's just
say,
personal. Yeah, there's no right or wrong here,
yeah,
folks.
yeah.
I know there's a politically correct way to say that you accept it, but for some people, it's not. And in a sense, if you think about it, if you meet whether you're a man or a woman, you meet someone
Yeah.
bisexual, now you've just doubled the pool of people that they'll cheat on you with. So,
Um,
I mean, if you
this
think
is
about
an
that,
equality flag, equality,
yeah, we're all fine with that.
rainbow flag. Like if that's your thing, cool, but
But
it's not for me,
it's just
you
sometimes
know.
that is a different mentality in a relationship. Bottom line, it's not that it's wrong. So if you're not okay with it, doesn't mean you're wrong. I should preface this because we got to be, PC.
Well, because then
So,
why are you sitting with a woman if you're bisexual? Why would you tell a woman that?
well, he likes both. Bisexual. He's not gay. Bisexual. He
I
likes
get
men
it.
and women. He's into both. It's everything. Anything goes.
I
Crystal,
want to know.
Red flag.
red flag. Gina,
Red.
okay. There we go. All right. He checks his phone and answers messages about every 15 minutes on day one. Date one. Uh, Renee,
Red.
Gina,
Never hear from me again.
Red.
Crystal.
Red.
All right. That was an easy one. Here's a different one. He offers to pay for a babysitter to take you on a date. It's the first date. He offers to pay for your babysitter to get you to go out. Crystal,
Green.
Green flag.
Renee.
Green.
Oh, you said green. Gina.
Yeah.
Green. I don't have kids, but that would be nice if
Still,
I had kids.
it's okay if you don't. You can still answer those questions.
Green flag.
Cool. Okay. He refuses to discuss his exes at all after multiple dates, and he doesn't say why. Gina.
I'm gonna say green. Maybe yellow flag. Maybe in the middle.
Have a yellow
Like,
flag.
as soon as I said it, I'm like, wait. Um, kind of like once it's me, I really don't care. Like I don't care to know about past. But then at the same time, like I kind of want to know what happened in a way.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I really don't care to hear people's past relationships before me.
Gotcha.
So
Renee.
yellow.
Okay. Fair. We're
Yeah.
making up rules as we go. It's okay to do. There's no rules here. That's why. Like I said. Renee.
Just a couple of dates, I'd say just green. That's green. No, I wouldn't want to know. about that right away.
Okay. All right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Green flag then for you, Crystal.
Red flag, like we were talking about earlier. I want to know what happened. How are you fixing it? How are you moving forward? And how are you not bringing that to our relationship?
Okay. All right.
I don't want to know if you cheated on your wife on our second date, though.
I
Do
do.
you? You want to know?
I want
Oh
to
my
know.
God.
Well,
You
yeah, I
should
mean
Not on
that
a second
mixes.
date.
Wouldn't you want to know? Because then you don't. Then you know, hey, this guy cheated on his wife. Oh, I'm going to go on a third date with him now. What if now you go 3, 4, 5 dates? You're getting invested, and then all of a sudden he pops that on you.
That's it.
I mean, if you have a conversation about, the past and like stuff like that, depending on how deep you are, do you talk every day? Are you FaceTiming and things like that? Then okay, I could see that at the second date. But if you're not, like, I've noticed that there's like this very broad range of people when they're in relationships or dating. Like some people are dating and they're just simply not talking every day, and they're talking every 2 or 3 days. And like I have women friends that don't need constant communication, and then I have women friends that are need constant communication, texts and FaceTimes before they go to bed, and they're talking every single day, and things move very, very quickly. So, I mean, I guess it just probably depends on the person and the situation.
You
But Crystal, I could definitely see you would want to know, certain things. You could probably connect the dots a lot of times, though, without even having to ask.
hmm. You
Just
raised a
saying.
good point, though. Wait, you raised something that I wanted to ask too. I'm going to just impromptu add this in: the texting frequency nowadays, because we have these things, and with these things, people assume that we're supposed to be reachable all the time. And if you go an hour or two without texting somebody, they get nervous. Some, like you said, some people are seeing some people they don't text. What's the etiquette here? Like, what point, you know, do and then it gets weird because if you're a frequent texter and then you have a like moment where you're away from your phone and you're not regular, they think something's wrong. But if you're just, chilling out and you got your phone, you're going at it. I mean, I don't know, Crystal, what do you think? Like, what's this? This seems way too like just broad for everyone to come up with a thing. But what do you guys like? Like, what is that? What do you prefer? I guess yourselves.
Everyone is different. I think appropriate is touch bases. In the morning, a touch base, maybe at lunch when you have a little downtime. I miss you. And then, at night, a phone call. I think constant texting all day is just, I mean, for someone like me, I am so busy. I'm running two businesses. I have two children. I'm living like I can't. And also, I want to miss you. I want to hear about your day later. What did you do today? Like, otherwise, we're never going to have anything to talk about if we're constantly talking. Um, I think we're in a world where we are constantly talking to people. And, there was one question I don't think we got to, but it was what's a habit that we would, like, I wish we would unlearn? And I feel like that's one of them is text messaging isn't communication. It should just be a touch base, especially with someone I'm with. It also, there are a lot of factors, but just to sum it up, a couple of touch bases a day, a phone call at night.
Okay.
You don't have to overdo it.
Anybody else want to weigh in, or did she say what you think too? What about you,
Yeah, I
Juliana?
mean, I don't want to text constantly all day. I'm busy too. I go to the gym. I'm not going to be texting you in between my workouts. So yeah, but I do think a daily check-in, like at least a good night, good morning, that's nice. But again, I don't want to I'm busy throughout the day. Sometimes I don't get to my phone right away.
Mhm.
But I've panicked before where I'm like, oh my gosh, the person will post and then they didn't answer your text where you're like, oh, well, he
Mhm.
just posted something and I texted him 2 hours ago. So it's like, I don't know. I think social media has really affected that, where then you kind of do get in your head where you're like, did I say something wrong? Did I do
Mm.
something? That sucks. But again, you have to understand too, everyone, maybe they're chilling, scrolling, posting, whatever. That's like mindless, having to respond to somebody is not mindless. You have to
Hmm.
think and type.
Very well said.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's very well said. And I've thought that myself too, because like there's different, like if someone likes something or clicks something, it doesn't take any effort to click or like some stuff
No,
and do a
Yeah.
little bit of like whatever lazy activity. But like, yeah, to actually give somebody a proper response,
right.
is takes mental effort, right?
Mhm.
Renee, did they cover that
Gina,
for
did
you?
you
What do you
get
think?
that from Chat GPT? Because I think it's told me that before. Kidding.
No, I
I'm just
swear.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, I think it's told me that before for one of my girlfriends that it didn't take a lot of effort to scroll, but it takes a lot of effort to respond back, basically. But yeah, so I think daily check-ins is probably good. I think once you start going to a couple of days, I think that's a bit much. Are you really even thinking of that person? Is that person involved in your life, or do they really care? You know?
Hmm.
But I mean, all day constant communication. There might be some women who are just sitting around all damn day and have nothing else to do, but the three of us that are here, we don't have time for that. So,
Some might just need reassurance. I think it's a personal issue that they just need the reassurance.
well, I think sometimes a lot of us become very anxious because we're used to what silence means, right? Silence means ghosting, or silence means that they're leaving and they're not going to say anything. So when you have these long spaces and gaps of all of the silence, when a man's not texting and you're not busy and you're not, preoccupied, you might say, like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from them in X amount of time. Why not? What are they doing instead? And it's just kind of controlling your minds and your thoughts at that point to just kind of settle that, I think, and
Hmm.
just kind of be like whole within yourself to say whether or not they show up or not, like I'm still gonna be okay,
Okay.
you
Well, that's
know?
no, that makes great sense. And you're right. We are our own worst enemies and make up stories and suffer through those
Hmm.
way too often. And it's something to catch to do. But ironically, that was one of our next ones was that this guy's texting frequency is minimal but consistent. And I'm going to assume that's a green flag all around.
Totally.
Okay, because
Green.
we just sort of talked about it. So, but what if you're out with this guy and you're on like maybe date two or three, and you're talking with him, you start to learn a little bit more about him. You're liking him. This is going great. You're like, this is awesome, and you're just like in, and you find out he has an incredibly embarrassing last name, like his name is
Sinopoli.
yeah, Sinopoli, right? That's terrible. Who would want to be called that? Like, what if his last name was like his name's Eric Twiddlecock or some shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you be Gina Twiddlecock? Gina, like, is that like you meet this guy and then he's traditional too? He's a traditional guy. He wants you to take his last name after you're married, and things are going splendidly. Everything is great. No red flags, no issues. Holy crap! Sparks flying, butterflies just going ballistic in your stomach. But his last name is Twiddlecock.
Can he change his list?
He is not going to change his last name because he really
Oh,
respects
I don't think I
he really respects Grandpa Twiddlecock and the rest of the Twiddlecock family tree. So,
I can't take
so you're
that
out. You're
last
out. The
name.
most amazing man in the world. You will not sign Gina Twiddlecock on.
Fine, I would.
No, don't let me change your
No,
mind.
I actually would though. Like if it's the most amazing man and it's like everything I want and it's just his last name, then I guess that's what my name would be if I really felt like that.
Okay, well that's the premise here. So yes, all right. So Gina would do it. That's a green flag for you, Crystal.
Yeah, if that man you're describing is him, Crystal Ashley Twiddlecock it is.
All right,
Sign
all
me
right,
up.
Same.
all right, Miss Twiddlecock. Okay, Renee, what about you? You're gonna
I'll keep my last name.
You
Thank you.
can't. He doesn't want that. He's
No,
very adamant.
I'm just kidding. No, I guess, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
if I was in that situation, I suppose.
I guess if he was that great of a man, he would accept you keeping your last name, but
That's
whatever.
right.
So, whatever. It's still just one of those things to think
I
about
like
when I'm sure that's something that comes up when you ladies think about that kind of thing. I've always wondered that myself because, whatever, that's the tradition it is. Okay, so a couple more and we're done. All right. Things are going well after several dates, but he respectfully asks you to share your location with him at all times. Renee,
It's a no for me.
red flag there. Crystal?
a
Oh,
couple
red flag. I forgot we were playing. I thought forgot we were
That's
red
okay.
and green.
You're fine.
Red.
We know no also means red flag. We can speak that language as well. Very good.
Is he my
Crystal,
boyfriend or we're just dating?
let's just say you're dating exclusively, pretty much. We'll go with that.
Green flag.
Gina?
Green flag, I don't have anything to hide. Do you want
Yeah.
to see my location? Go right ahead.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
But he has to
I
be
don't
my
want to share
boyfriend.
location.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
say it has to be
You
exclusive.
said a
All right.
couple
Once
dates.
it's
That's two. What do you
all
need
right.
my location for? That's weird.
All right. You're right.
You
It's
can
not
date.
stalk me. I
exclusive.
have kids.
The
Red
the
flag.
actual text here says things are going well after several dates. So that's where we're at. We're gonna go with what we have written down here. So does anyone change anybody's tune?
Yeah, if we're not
Exclusive.
exclusive, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
if it's just a couple dates, no, you don't need to see my location. That means you got like trust issues or something. I don't know.
fair enough. Okay, so then we say that the location sharing barrier is between exclusivity and non. All right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
my
good.
boyfriend, I don't care.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Okay, he wears Crocs with socks. Gina,
Red, I hate Crocs. Hate them.
Renee?
Uh, Yellow. I mean, he's a dad that brings his kids to the bus stop, okay? And his Crocs and socks. Red, because if you wear those anywhere besides to the bus stop, no, that's red.
Crystal?
That's it.
Green flag, you are secure in yourself and what you do and what you choose, and you don't care what anybody else thinks.
What if they're SpongeBob socks?
I like it.
Good. That's what I thought. I'm not saying I have this ensemble and was
Definitely
testing
do.
it out here,
If
but
not, I'm sending you a pair.
I'll be looking forward to those. I guess I have no choice now. All right. You get together with him. He's a good guy. It's all good, but he has no social media, nothing, no LinkedIn, nothing. He's off the grid social media wise. Don't know how the hell you met him because no one's approaching each other outside of this shit, but hey,
Fair.
whatever. So, Crystal, what do you think? He has
Green
no
flag.
social media. Green flag, you're in. Renee?
Green and the only flag.
Okay. Gina?
Green. That's like
Green.
a dream.
Dream.
Man with no social media is an attractive man. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Very,
All right.
very attractive.
There you go, guys. You want to get women? Delete your social media.
Listen,
It'll be a challenge to find them, I'm sure, but you'll figure it out. Go to the library or something.
it's not that hard, ladies. Trust me, they're out there.
Last one. He's great in every way you can imagine, but you disrespect his job and find it very immoral. Whatever that might be. Crystal?
Red.
Renee?
Red.
Gina?
Red.
Okay. Can't be with him in that case. Okay. So that's a lot of stuff we've discussed here. There was a lot going on there. Okay. We had some other stuff from social media too that I really couldn't get to just because this would be a 4-hour podcast. So I do want to end it up with a positive note. So we kind of talked about giving some hope, some things maybe that you like that men do. Anything you guys want to offer to put out there that you think is beneficial to hear, that if anybody listening here is struggling in a sense with relationships that you think will help. And we will start with Gina, if you want to go. If you don't have anything, that's all right too.
Wait, what was it again?
Like, what would you say positive? Like anything, like give hope, basically give some hope. Because
Oh,
there's a lot of hope.
positive?
There's a lot of hopeless. I want to end this episode with on a positive note. Not that we've been negative here, but we've been kind of talking about the miscommunications and the maneuvering and all of this through these relationships and this dating world. But like, what's something that could give hope to men out there, women even too? What do you
Just be
think?
real and genuine, and you'll find the right person. I think everyone's scared to be real. And even I was, sometimes I'm scared, like, should I be myself? I don't know. But at the end of the day, someone's going to love you for you. And I think that everybody should just be real.
That's very well said. It's true. Very true. Renee.
Mhm.
Ready yet?
What was that?
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, okay. Then Crystal, you got
I'm
something?
sorry.
Crystal, you got something ready to go with?
Of course, I have something ready to go.
All right.
For the women, I think you need to start knowing what you want and really be intentional with dating and stop trying to, don't worry so much if they're going to like you or if they're going to pick you or if they're going to choose you. And you have to start remembering that you are the prize. You are all the things. And if someone doesn't want to be with you, that is okay. Stop filling your time with text messages if they're not feeling good for you. Stop going on dates that you're really not interested in. Start getting to know and push these guys to do what you want them to do. If you want a phone call, tell them. And if they can't, then move away from them. And what's happening is you're ending up in these relationships that you don't even want to be in. You're feeling like maybe they'll pick me. Get out of that mentality. Like I said, I haven't been on a date and I haven't been happier because I'm not filling my time with just nonsense and fillers. I'm really intentional at my age to get what I want, and don't be afraid to say no to the coffee date if you want to go out to dinner. It doesn't have to be a $500 dinner, but start realizing your worth and asking for what you want. And the man who will be that guy for you will say yes, and he will show up for you. The other ones won't, and they'll ghost you, and you're going to thank them. And just a message to the guys is like, don't be afraid to go up to the girl that you want to. Don't be afraid of rejection. If she says no, it's okay. But you're never going to know if you don't try. And you need to start being intentional too. If you like somebody and you are attracted to them, whether they are at the gym. Maybe wait till they're done working out, but just say hello. You'll be surprised that most women are going to smile and say hello back. And you may just have a conversation and leave, but we have to stop being scared of the rejection and of the no and of the dislikes and the thumbs down and not enough hearts. And we have to get away from that because we are not getting what we want in relationships because we're not trying. And we're so scared of being rejected. Who cares? We're not getting what we want. So, men, go for it, okay? And be intentional with it, with how you want to date and who you want to be with. And women, stop accepting less because you're not going to get what you want that way. That's all I have to say.
Very well said. Very nice. Very good. Renee,
Yeah.
would you like to add on?
Yeah, sure. I think obviously I'd like to ditto with both of them said, for sure. I think really, I think on both ends, both men and women, I'll go with all together. I think everyone needs to focus on showing up intentionally, but then also if you are showing up, making sure that you're emotionally available to be in that space with another person. And then also being able to be vulnerable. I think that's important on both ends. I think dropping the walls a little bit because we're also clustered up and we're just also closed and some of us are traumatized, like let down the walls a little bit, become vulnerable, let people in, show up intentionally, don't show up for potential, show up for the work maybe. And then also be accountable, I think, for your actions in the relationships that you're developing. If you're saying something, mean it. If you're doing something, hold yourself accountable that you're going to do it. Don't just say things because they're pretty. Be emotionally available, be vulnerable, just be yourself, but be genuine.
Very good. I think
Yeah.
that's all three extremely well said. And I think that's probably just what we lack in the world is people being genuine in themselves. They're putting on a show for an audience. And I think that's what social media has done. And the internet and this connectivity, I think we're probably just trying too hard to be something that we aren't and worried about judgment and rejection. It damages that ego, right? So gotta just take it sometimes. And after you do a few reps and you get it rejected a couple times, it's gonna hurt less and less. And then you just become a more outgoing person and figure it out, right? That's all you got to do. So don't listen. I don't know what I'm talking about, so it's okay. But anyways, that's everything we got today. Before I know we can go on and on and on with all of this, and probably still have great conversation through it. But I want to thank all three of you for doing this with me and taking your time to just kind of open up a little bit. It's a not easy thing to do. I greatly appreciate it. So. They've said their final thoughts. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and give you my contact info. If you do want any of the contact info for any of these ladies, I can get that for you. I am on social media still, and that's going to be usually Facebook or Instagram. That's at MFS Wellness. You can shoot me an email. That's mike@mfswellness.com. We're going to come back probably in a couple of weeks with the men's version of this, and one of these ladies here is going to host that for us. So that's going to be fun to see. And we're going to get the men's perspective on this. So until then, for Crystal, for Renee, for Gina, everybody, I'm Mike. Stay safe out there. Thank you.